Pride for me personally has a very big meaning because my two best friends since college are gay, and they really show me a lot of why it's important for us to be inclusive of the LGBTQ community. I remember when I was 19 and for the first time my friend came out to me, and that was something that it really marked my life, to think about how many times he would have to come out throughout his life as he did, and how many times he would face the fear of sharing that with someone that he cared and being afraid of being rejected or discriminated. And I know that that is something that we can do better to make sure that all individuals don't feel any fear of discrimination, and therefore don't fear of bringing their whole self to work, don't fear coming out, don't fear being who they are. And that is why in my work as head of diversity, equity, and inclusion, I continue to work very much on pride, because for me that is the measure of inclusion. The measure of inclusion and belonging is how much people can bring their whole selves to work without fear of discrimination. And definitely for the LGBTQ community, we have seen a huge improvement over the last couple of decades, but we still have a lot to do. And so it's not about boastfulness, it's not about the amazing pride parades that I love. It's really around taking away the shame and stigma and taking away the fear, so everyone in the LGBTQ plus community can bring their whole self to work. So inclusion for me is the secret sauce. It's basically how we really leverage diversity in the workplace. Without inclusion, diversity is just chaos. So inclusion is the environment where diversity thrives, and it's really important for us to think that inclusion is what makes people come to work, when they feel that they belong, when they feel that there is fairness, when they feel that there is psychological safety for them to bring and talk about issues, and fundamentally to bring their whole self to work and not feel that they have to pretend or spend time being someone else in front of others. Without inclusion, we cannot really reap the benefits of diversity of thought, because diversity of thought only happens in environments where people can share all their thoughts and they can contribute to and challenge the thinking and contribute for growth and progress. Allyship is the action of inclusion. Allyship is how you demonstrate the behavior of inclusion. And we all need to think about that an ally is not a title. It's not something that you talk about and tell other people, I'm an ally. It's really something that you demonstrate through actions. These actions should be practical. So for instance, as an ally, I open my network to those who do not have access to that network. But that's not just because my role as a global head of diversity, equity, and inclusion. That's part of all roles, especially those of senior leaders. All senior leaders have an important role to play as allies, because they can open doors, they can pull people into discussions, they can open their networks, and they can definitely use their roles and status to bring change to all. I think that allyship is really important for organizations to think of in a matter of processes and policies, to make it institutional, that allyship is part of how we do things. In Hayes, we definitely look at allyship through our employee resource groups. Our employee resource groups are ways of our employees in underrepresented minorities to talk about diversity, but also to bring their allies into their conversation. Then, together, these employee resource groups help Hayes to change and progress on our inclusion agenda. Allyship is an action. And as all actions, it needs to be continuous or you won't have any effect of it. So it's very important that as allies, we are thinking daily on, first of all, how are you raising your own awareness? How are you getting the knowledge that you need to be an effective ally? Not necessarily relying only on those to tell you about their experience, but really seeking various forms of knowledge and understanding about underrepresented minorities. The other thing is that you should think every day on, how am I giving people access to my networks? How am I working on change? How am I calling out behavior if I see it, right? I think we need to really do away with the idea of the innocent bystander. If you see it, you say it, and you sort it. It's very important for us to call out behavior that we see, especially when others might not have the voice to call out for themselves. That is the role of an ally, to speak when others don't have maybe the power or the status necessary to raise concerns. That's what allies do. They help the conversations and they advocate for others and they call on behavior that needs to be changed. There is still a lot to be done to ensure equality for LGBTQ plus community. I've been doing diversity, equity, and inclusion work for over 15 years, and I've never will say that we are done. I think that we are on a journey. We definitely continue to embed and strengthen, for instance, our Pride networks here at Hayes. We are very proud of Pride, no pun intended, being our most global employee resource group, and we continue to give the limelight and the voices to our employees. I hope all of you actually get to hear more about our Pride networks and get to see more of the work that we do and why it is important for all to feel included and belonging in the culture that we want to establish.